Hi guys, in this slide I want to talk about chemical in agriculture. Agriculture chemicals are substances such as fertilizers, herbicides and fungicides and plant growth regulators that are used to support farming. They help plants grow by providing essential nutrients, protect crops from pests, weeds and disease, and improve soil quality. And this chemical play a vital role in increasing crop yields, ensuring food security, and making farming more efficient. But they must be used responsibly to minimize environmental and health impact. Is chemical in agriculture important or not? Yes, these chemicals are important in modern agriculture. For number 1, increase crop yields. Fertilizers give plants nutrients like nitrogen and potassium, helping them grow faster and produce more. For number 2, protect crops. Pesticides and fungicides keep pests, weeds and disease from destroying crops. For number 3, save time and efforts. Herbicides kill weeds quickly, so farmers don't need to remove by hand. For number 4, ensure enough food. This chemical help produce more food to feed the growing population. So we move to the next part. So we know chemical in agriculture have more benefit for farmers. And what is for environmental impact? So for number 1, air pollution. Some pesticides release harmful gases into the air which can contribute to air pollution and affect nearby communities. So for number 2, pollution. Too much fertilizers can harm soil and wash into rivers, polluting to water. So number 3, hurt insects. Pesticides can kill bees and other insects that help plants grow. So for number 4, chemical residues. Chemical can stay in the environment for a long time, contaminating ecosystem and affecting wildfire health.
Hi guys, so let's move to effectiveness of chemicals. Chemicals have effective tools such as fertilizers, pesticides, and also growth regulator. These all of chemicals help to improving crop production and protecting agriculture systems. So let's move to 1 is it can increase crop yields by using a fertilizer. Fertilizer has supplied essential nutrients such as nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Also, it can promote healthy plant growth and boost yields. Second is pesticides. Pesticides can reduce crop loss caused by pests, disease, and weeds, plus ensuring more plants crop reach harvest. With all of these chemicals can maximize their crop yield on a specific land and also ensure of land produce and prevent pests. Second is pest and disease control. We can use chemicals such as insecticides because it can effectively kill or repulse harmful insects and protecting crops during critical growth stage. Second, we can use fungicides to prevent or manage fungal disease such as blight or rust that could devastate crops. And last one is herbicides to suppress weed growth that competes with crops for nutrients, water, and also sunlight. Okay, let's move to the third, which is enhance quality and produce. First, we can use PGRS, which is plant growth regulators to improve the size, shape, and quality of fruits, vegetables, and grains. Second, we can use micronutrient fertilizers to address deficiencies in trace elements like zinc or iron. And last one, it can improve in crop nutrition and quality. I will give you examples of fast-growing crops with chemicals. First, with vegetables. There is leafy greens such as spinach and lettuce grow faster with nitrogen-rich fertilizers. Second, cereal crops where wheat and rice responds well to nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium fertilizers. And last one is fruit crops, which such as grapes and sugarcane benefit from gibberellins for faster development.
Now, I'm going to talk about the advantage and disadvantage of using chemicals in agriculture. I also going to tell you about the examples of chemical compounds that we use in agriculture. Let's begin with talk about the advantage of using chemicals in agriculture. The advantage is increased crop yield. It is our ability to grow more fruit and fruit from the same area of land, which is essential for meeting the demand of a growing global population. Chemicals such as fertilizers and pesticides can significantly enhance crop production. Fertilizers provide essential nutrients that plants need to grow, while pesticides protect crops from harmful pests, disease, and weeds, also allowing them to thrive. This can ensure sufficient food supply in the country in the event of an emergency such as the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020. The next advantage is soil fertility management. Fertilizers help replenish soil nutrients that are consumed by plants, which is essential for maintaining soil fertility over time, especially in intensive farming systems. Fertilizers are the key tools for managing soil fertility because they provide the necessary nutrients that soil may be lacking, particularly in intensive farming systems where large quantities of crops are grown years after year. Although these chemicals have advantage, they also have disadvantage. So, let's talk about the disadvantage of using chemicals in agriculture. First disadvantage is environmental pollution. The excessive or improper use of agricultural chemicals can lead to pollution of air, water, and soil. For example, water contamination. It happens because the pesticide or fertilizers that run off into nearby river, lakes, or groundwater. Soil pollution happens due to overuse of fertilizers and pesticides that degrade soil quality, affect some microorganisms, and lead to long-term damage to soil health. This can reduce the soil's ability to support future crops. Disadvantage is health risk to humans and animals. Exposure to chemicals used in agriculture can expose health risks to farm workers, consumers, and animals. For instance, acute toxicity. It is a direct exposed to high level of pesticide and fertilizer that can cause a lot of serious disease like poisoning, skin irritation, respiratory problem, or even death in extreme cases. The farmers that handle the chemicals without proper protection equipment are particularly at risk. An example that we can know is long-term health effect. Its cause of prolonged exposure to certain chemical has been linked to chronic health issues like cancer and hormone disruption. Residues of pesticides on food can also expose risk to consumer, especially if the produce is not properly washed. Let's move forward to the example of chemical compound that we use in agriculture. There are 5 of chemicals that commonly used by farmers. Chemicals are processed to be fertilizers. The example of a chemical in the fertilizers are urea. Urea is a nitrogen-based fertilizer used to promote plants' growth. Next is ammonium nitrate. Ammonium nitrate is a quick-release nitrogen fertilizer. Other than that, it also has potassium chloride in fertilizers, a potassium-based fertilizer to strengthen plants' resistance to disease. Pesticide. In pesticide, it has glyphosate that is used to control broadleaf weeds and grasses. It also has alation. It is an insecticide for controlling pests like mosquitoes, fruit flies, and other insects. However, chemicals used in herbicide. The example of chemical herbicide is 2,4-D and atrazine. 2,4-D is a selective herbicide for controlling broadleaf weeds, and atrazine is a herbicide that primarily used to control weeds in cornfield. Next is fungicide. It has copper sulfide that used to treat fungal infection and bacterial disease. It also has mancozeb that used for preventing disease like blight and mildew. Lastly, insecticide. It has imidacloprid that used to control pests like aphids and termites. It also has pyrethrin. It is a natural insecticide derived from chrysanthemum flowers used to control a variety of pests.
In Malaysia, the regulation of chemicals used in agriculture is pivotal for ensuring public health, environmental sustainability, and food safety. The agricultural sector relies heavily on various agrochemicals, including pesticides and fertilizers, to enhance crop yields and manage pests effectively. These regulations not only aim to protect human health by minimizing exposure to harmful substances, but also seek to preserve environmental integrity by controlling pollution and promoting sustainable practice. However, this potential risk associated with these chemicals necessitate a robust legal framework to govern their use. Several key laws have been established to oversee the registration, handling, application, and monitoring of agricultural chemicals. Understanding this law is essential for stakeholders in agricultural sectors as they provide guidelines for responsible chemical use while mitigating risk to workers, consumers, and ecosystem. The first of these laws are the Pesticides Act 1974 that serves as the cornerstone of pesticide regulation in Malaysia, aimed at safeguarding public health and the environment through stringent control measures. This legislation established the Pesticides Board, which is responsible for overseeing the registration, licensing, and monitoring of pesticides used in agriculture. To uphold compliance, this Act empowers enforcement officer to conduct inspection and seize unregistered or improperly labeled pesticide. This proactive approach aims to mitigate the risk posed by illegal pesticide sales and usage, which can lead to significant public health and environmental hazard. The second law regarding the use of chemicals in agriculture is the Environmental Quality Act of 1974. The Environmental Quality Act 1974 complements the Pesticides Act by addressing broader environmental concerns associated with agricultural practices. This legislation is crucial for maintaining ecological integrity while promoting sustainable agricultural development. One of the methods they use are pollution control standards. The Act established stringent standards for pollutant discharge into the environment, specifically targeting runoff from agricultural activities that may contain harmful pesticides residues. It requires farmers to implement best management practice, or BMPs, to minimize environmental contamination, thereby protecting water quality and biodiversity. Other than that, there is also environmental impact assessments, or EIA. Certain agricultural projects are mandated to undergo environmental impact assessments, or EIA, to evaluate potential adverse effects on ecosystem before approval. This process encourages the adoption of environmentally friendly before practices and technologies in agriculture, fostering a balance between productivity and ecological sustainability. The last and the third point of the laws regarding chemical use in agriculture are the Poisons Act of 1952. The Poisons Act 1952 regulates the sale and the use of toxic substances, including certain agrochemicals classified as poison. This act is vital for preventing misuse and ensuring safe handling of hazardous chemicals in agricultural setting. One of the control measures are the Poison Act restrict the use of certain highly toxic substances in agricultural unless specific conditions are met. These controls are designed to protect public health by limiting exposure to hazardous chemicals while also allowing for their necessary use in pest management when appropriate safeguards are in place. This regulatory measure helps prevent unauthorized access to highly toxic chemicals, thereby reducing the risk of accidental poisoning among workers and consumers. In conclusion, these laws set in place collectively create a framework for the responsible use of chemicals in agriculture in Malaysia, balancing agricultural productivity with environmental protection and public health. Compliance with these regulations is essential for sustainable agricultural practices and safeguarding both workers and consumer. That is all from us. Thank you for watching the video.